Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
We start today in Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott's impending contract resolution is the first of two shotgun weddings Cowboys owner Jerry Jones will participate in this summer. The other will be when Jerry marries the Cowboys to quarterback Dak Prescott. But let's not deal with Dak just yet. Today, according to all informed speculation, is supposed to be Zeke's wedding day.
That's the family?
Make no mistake about it. This is a shotgun wedding.
Yes.
Zeke knocked up Jerry a few years ago when he rushed for 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns when the young running back was barely legal.
Ooh.
He curled the old man's toes,
Oh.
and Jerry's been crazy in love ever since.
Sunshine.
Reports are Jerry has bought Zeke the biggest wedding ring ever given to an NFL running back. It's bigger than the 13-carat ring the Jets gave Le'Veon Bell. It's even supposed to be bigger than the 14-carat wedding band the Rams put on the finger of Todd Gurley.
I do.
Not since Mike Ditka promised Ricky Williams keys to every strip club in the French Quarter has an old football man been this in love with a running back.
Reggie.
At 52, I've seen my share of shotgun weddings. Here's the thing. They're usually messy, filled with regret, and generally expire within 3 to 5 years due to infidelity. The bride knows exactly what she's getting, but she just wants that wedding day. For some women, weddings feel like Super Bowls. It's a special day she spends with all of her best friends celebrating her specialness. And there's lots of pictures. It's like lunch with Oprah and a candlelight dinner with me.
Look at you. Your eyes.
His eyes is moving.
Jerry desperately wants one more Super Bowl. He knows exactly what he's getting in Elliott. Zeke has been caddying around Dallas for the last 3 years. He's cheated on Jerry in every way possible. All of us watching this Cowboys wedding know how this is going to end. That 14.5 or 15-carat ring isn't going to stop Zeke's foolishness.
No, it ain't.
Zeke has been in Cabo for the past month, throwing the most elaborate bachelor party any running back has ever thrown. The party was so live and so freaky, Marshall Faulk flew down to Cabo to see it for himself under the pretense he was helping Zeke train. Come on. We've all been there, sitting in the church pew, and the minister says, "You may now kiss the bride." And you like, "Oh, I hope he brushed his teeth from last night." Jerry knows who Zeke is. Jerry knows it's highly likely that Zeke ends up suspended again before this new contract runs out. That's okay. Jerry just wants his real wedding day, another trip to the Super Bowl. I think Zeke will get the Cowboys there before he gets in trouble again, and that means Jerry won't regret this shotgun wedding. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analyst Levar Arrington and Reggie Bush from Fox's Big Noon Kickoff Show. All right, Marcellus.
Big time.
Let's start with you. Will Jerry regret caving to Zeke's demands?
No, he won't regret this. I guess that shotgun never was aimed at you, huh? You still up here super single, 52 years young.
Oh, wow.
You ever cross? Jump in that room? I love you, brother. He won't regret this. One, Zeke is always going to give you production.
Yep.
It's in his DNA. He is a born baller, especially for this position. We've all played with a guy or two that had that screw loose. And that guy was consumed with the game, and it came with his hiccups, but he still always was productive between the white lines, and I think that's who Ezekiel Elliott is. One thing about Zeke that makes so much sense in terms of Jerry finally saying, "I do" with you, Zeke, is his age. He is getting this deal at the age of 24, and if this is a 5-year deal, that's 29 years old. If it's 6 years, 30. That magical round number where Reggie Bush could talk about, they all of a sudden look at the same running back differently. So if I'm going to pay for a prime Ezekiel Elliott, why not pay for him in his prime? Don't make the mistake that baseball does and, we're going to get you this big contract. Get some of your prime, but the back end, I don't know who this guy is. So he's signing Ezekiel Elliott, the player we know and the player that will grow into even more while he's still in his prime. No regrets.
And I think it also depends on how do you define regret, right? Are you defining it in respects to his on-field production? Because if that's the case, like Marcellus just painted, then there's not even a question. But he is year in and year out the best running back. The offense flows through him. He makes everybody else in that team better. But if you're talking about with respects to maybe off the field issues, then yeah, maybe, right? Maybe there might be some regrets there. But at the end of the day, Zeke is the best running back. And my question is, why should he take less? Why should he take less when he is year in and year out proving that he's better than Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell? He's always number one. So he deserves to get paid like that number one.
The highest paid running back.
The highest paid running back.
No regret.
Well, here's where the regret could be. How long is the deal going to be for? Because I look at it, the first thing I'm thinking of is he still has 2 years left on this deal. And I know we will argue the fact that he's outperformed a CBA rookie contract deal, but let's be real here. If he's getting a deal that's making him the highest paid running back in the league, and he still has 2 years left on the deal that he has right now, the regret could be if he does indeed, which I think he will perform, as mentioned, and I think he will be prosperous in what he's able to accomplish, but does he come back again? And if he comes back again, now the question is does it move up to 3 years? Does it move to 4? What do you mean? You got 4 years left on your contract. Well, you know what? I'm performing, and I feel like I'm outperforming my contract. And here are the contracts that the top running backs have right now for the NFL. I need to get more money.
That is exactly where the regret could come in, and Jerry tried to get out ahead of it. We heard last week where Jerry's like, well, hold on, man. Are you going to honor this contract is basically what he put into the air.
He did.
Put out into public space. Is he going to honor this contract? And I guess that tips their hand in turn. They want to go long-term, 6 years, and they want Zeke to do all 6 and not come back to them. And so that is the question. Can you trust Zeke year 3, 4, 5, and 6 not to come back and say, I need more money?
Yeah, I mean, this is a commitment issue. I'm glad you went with marriage. And the thing is, are you going to commit to a pure prime Zeke, 24 to 29, 24 to 30? Or wait, and then you're still going to have to spend that money, more money, because it's going to be later. The CBA and the salary cap is going up every year. And pay for mostly a prime Zeke, and then the last 2 years, it starts to become a question mark. You're starting to get to the Emmitt Smith years at the end when, unfortunately, he had to become an Arizona Cardinal. So if the money is already spent, why did not spend it now and make sure you get ROI?
It still makes the point. What you're saying still makes the point. If he gets into that third year of his contract and he feels like, okay, where the economics of the game has gone because of the cap raising and because of the new contracts being done, and it may be a back that isn't even exactly as good as Ezekiel.
McCaffrey's coming in a year or two.
You're making the point. He may come back around and be like year 3, year 4, like, Jerry, I'm balling, man. And inflation has kicked in. You guys need to give me another contract or I'm not coming in.
Because I think that's already built into every contract. We know it's not a two-way street. We know they could cut you at any time, and we know we can always go back. So that's almost redundant for me to say that because that's how all contracts are based.
And that's the point I was going to make is that.
My bad.
No. That was the point I was going to get to is just that, well, why is the ownership on Zeke we're saying if he outperforms his contract, he's going to come back from. Well, what about the Cowboys, right? Because we have known, and the running back position has been devalued over the years, but we have seen teams time after time cut people, and
or
when
ask for a restructure.
Or ask for a restructure, right? When you feel like, well, hold on, I'm still the guy here, right? The offense is still flowing through me, so I think it's a two-way street. I know you say it's not a two-way street. I believe it's a two-way street on both ends because Jerry can come back and say, I'm done with you, like he did to DeMarco Murray, or Zeke can come back and say, I want more money.
For clarity, it's 2 one-way streets to me. Like they could go whatever they want to do, and you can do whatever you want to do. We ain't on the same street because we will honor this contract.
But look, you 3 have all been married, and this to me is about arguing about the wedding vows. Again, so what are you committing to? In Jerry's mind, he's trying to make the vows be until death do us part.
Maybe it's a maybe it's a prenuptial agreement situation. Maybe it's not the vows itself. Maybe it's I need an ironclad prenup. Yeah. You know what I mean? I need to understand where we're going with this. If you decide to leave me, I need to know what you're trying to take.
And I think for Zeke hasn't even been, and there's a chance, and I know the league is quarterback crazy, but let's say Zeke goes Marshall Faulk and becomes MVP of the league. Mm-hmm. That would make him be like,
you're on the clock.
I'm MVP of the league.
He ain't never coming home, baby. He in the streets.
And so I think Jerry's trying to prenup or wedding vows, whatever, is trying to say, hey, man, I'm making you the highest paid running back when everybody in the league is trying to make us go the other direction on running backs. And for that, no matter what you do, Zeke, no matter how many touches we give you,
please don't
even you the
come back.
MVP,
please
don't bring your butt
Please
back
don't
here.
come back.
Look how telling this is, and this is really sad. I hope Stephen Jones grabs his dad and said, Dad, before we marry Zeke, this is what we're doing. We're basically in a relationship with somebody that we really don't trust. Because, you know, in any relationship, if someone, my girls, back in the days, people I dated used to say, just be honest. Tell the truth. Make sure you come home. Call me if you're out too late. I'm like, wait a minute. If we got to do all this and I haven't even left and I'm right here, that lets me know what you really think about me in depth. If you have all of these disclaimers,
I think that's good. You good
all
where
of
you're
these
at.
levels, you ain't really committing to that person. You committing to a perception that you built around that person. Zeke has shown you that he is believing in infidelity, as you said. Like, if I go to Vegas, I might shove somebody. It might happen. If I go to the Mardi Gras, the top coming up. And you gonna commit to that, but ABC. I can tell him myself. As soon as I heard ABC, I was like, MNLOP, whatever. I'm not trying to hear this. So be careful of this moment if you're really trying to lay out a different Zeke than what you've been seeing.
Yeah, I would agree with you as well on that.
I think, again, because I think that Zeke is going to deliver a Super Bowl, I think, in the next 3 years before any of this becomes an issue. And as long as Jerry gets,
You want to switch the argument
I
now?
don't see that.
Yeah, we can go ahead and just have a whole discussion on this topic right here.
The NFC?
I don't see that.
Look,
The NFC.
I know what Jerry thinks he's doing by giving all these guys. They just signed Collins, the offensive
Lyle
lineman.
Collins, yes.
Jalen Smith.
Yes.
They talking about doing one with Dak and
DeMarcus
He
Lawrence.
thinks
Yeah.
he's paying all these guys for a Super Bowl
True.
in the next 2 or 3 years.
True.
And I love their roster. I love the team he's built. I think it's going to happen. And if that happens in 2 or 3 years, then Zeke can come back and demand all the money he wants. He can retire. He can do anything. Jerry's good.
I mean, we could go deep into the X's and O's of this, but I really like their roster. But if I look at in the passing game, they still have their issues outside the top 10 in most statistical categories. Amari Cooper has not practiced once this summer, which has gotten understated because of all of the contract talk.
Yeah.
The dude has plantar fasciitis and the heel issue. I had that my rookie year. And I was a defensive lineman at hobbling. No matter a receiver, we don't know what this passing game is going to look like. Receiver depth is an issue. You got Jason Witten coming from Monday Night Football. You got Dak with his limitations. This is a passing league.
New offensive coordinator?
New offensive coordinator. It could go wrong pretty fast.
Yeah.
But Jerry's spending all this money thinking it's going right.
Oh, yeah.
And again, happiness is based on expectations. If Jerry gets what he wants, a trip to the Super Bowl, he's going to be good.
So the Rams just going to go away now, right?
Well,
so we're going to get rid of the Rams out the NFC?
The Saints,
I'm not getting rid of
the Eagles.
I
love
and
you.
again, I know you a Redskins guy and you biased, but
I'm not
but to
biased
me,
towards them, though.
I know.
I went to the Giants. I claimed the Giants. They got Super Bowls.
Yeah.
The
Are y'all all
Redskins.
sitting here acting like Dallas's roster is not one of the
No, they're
best?
nice.
in the
They
league?
are good.
Don't
They are
do that
good.
to us. They are nice. But you said in the next 3 years, that would be a Super Bowl contender.
That's what Jerry thinks he's buying.
I would bet, I am going to bet that the Dallas Cowboys will not be in a Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
Can I get on some of that?
Yeah, you want some too?
Yeah, I want to get some of
Okay,
that.
what about you, LA?
Oh, I'm in on that.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'll
I
take
get
all
on that
three of
bet.
y'all.
I'm in.
All right, good.
I'm in.
No prenup either. I want my money.
Hey guys, this is Jason Whitlock from Speak For Yourself. Are you ready for what's ahead? You can't always predict the future, but you can game plan for it. Generations of families and businesses have harnessed the power of Pacific to help them reach their unique goals. Whether you need to save enough money to meet your needs, ensure your family is protected, or make sure you don't run out of money, Pacific Life has a variety of financial solutions that can help. Pacific Life counts more than half of the 100 largest U.S. companies as its clients and has been named one of the 2019 world's most ethical companies by the Ethisphere Institute. Protecting what matters most to people for 150 years and counting? That's the power of Pacific. Ask a financial professional about how Pacific Life can help you game plan for the future, or visit pacificlife.com.
Reggie Bush and Levar Arrington are back. Time now for a big story. Let's move to the Chargers, who've decided to suspend negotiations with Melvin Gordon until after the season, and the running back is starting to vent his frustration. Yesterday, former Eagle Brian Westbrook said on First Things First that Gordon has no leverage because the team isn't building around him, and Gordon took an apparent shot at Westbrook on Twitter, writing, quote, "It's one thing having people that never played diss you and hate on you, but when it's another back, that do it shaking my head. Shame on you.
Shame.
LOL.
Shame
Y'all try
on-
to make me
shame
out to
on-
be so average. And y'all know I'm not. My peers who actually played the game know where I'm at with it.
Oh, wait. Why you read it like that, though? Why you read it like that? You got to do it like that. Why you read it like that?
I feel sorry for Melvin.
Man.
He's been led astray. And I did some homework on his representation, and they're not bad. In this situation, they've handled it poorly, and I think they've given this kid some bad advice. I'm not going to beat up on the agents, but Melvin Gordon probably needs to find new representation to fix this
But why
situation.
can't you beat up on the agents? Because those are the ones that are advising him.
I agree. But in other instances, they've done a great job. This one here, they've done a bad job. I think Melvin Gordon needs to find new representation.
Bad advice. Horrible timing, worse than the bad advice. Know the circumstances and the context matters, Melvin Gordon.
Amen.
You are playing for the LA Chargers. I played for the San Diego Chargers. The last time this Chargers team had a franchise running back, he was a Hall of Famer by the name of LaDainian Tomlinson, my teammate. Ask yourself, don't even say the answer aloud.
And you
Look
gonna
in
ask
the
it.
mirror. And when you're talking to these Chargers executives, do you think they see LT when they're talking to you? That's one. Two, do you know the same team that Phillip Rivers is going into his last year on his contract? The franchise quarterback, who still is balling. Throw the birth certificate out the window. This dude is balling. He owns some other stuff. Playing actually better than even Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady wins the Super Bowls. This guy individually balling. Forget his age. And now you're going to ask for money prematurely, and we ain't even paid our franchise quarterback? You marry those two concepts. Whoever told you to go step in there, or more importantly, stay away from this facility while you were in the pursuit of what was best for you, I'm sorry, man, they led you astray.
It's the agents. And I fully place the blame on them because at the end of the day, it's the player's job to worry about what we can control on the football field, right? But in the contract negotiations, that is not our area of expertise, right? That is not what we got involved in this game. We got involved in the game for the financial side of it, the financial security, but I relied heavily on my agents to give me the best advice possible.
And you had a good agent.
And I had good agents. And it didn't matter what they did in the past for whoever else they had. It matters what you're doing for me. Because right now, I'm the only one that's at the negotiating table. I'm by myself right now. The rest of my team is about to play week 1 against the Colts. Which that's not going to be an easy win. The Colts might have one of the best teams in football this year, if they still had Andrew Luck. But
They still.
I'm blaming the agents on this one because they.
So you do feel sorry for Melvin?
Hell yeah.
I feel sorry because I feel like he's getting bad advice. And that's my boy. And Melvin Gordon is one of my boys. And I feel like he's getting some bad advice.
I feel sorry for Melvin Gordon here in this situation because longevity would prove out what Melvin Gordon is. And I think through the longevity, he would get the respect that is deserved. There are some players that come in, they have the splash, they have the name, they have the brand, and, you know, like an Ezekiel Elliott. And you can look at the stats and it backs what you're saying. But then there's certain guys that can come in and they don't get exactly what it is. Like I look at like a Barry Sanders versus a Thurman Thomas, right? You look at Thurman. Thurman, I mean, come on now, he was just as good and just as talented in a lot of ways.
He started over Barry in college.
Oh, there you go. And they had a heck of a backfield in Oklahoma State. But the reality is that he did not have the fanfare. He did not have the backing. He's a longevity player. So if Melvin Gordon took the approach that I'm going to be a player of longevity and I'll get my respect and I'll get my just due, that would be the better approach for him. And I feel sorry that he doesn't have that approach, because this could be what really derails what his legacy and what his accomplishments could have really been in this league.
Well, and again, who knows what Melvin Gordon is saying to his agents? Because at the end of the day, the agent in any profession works for the client, not the other way around. I would love to know who told him $10 million wasn't enough. And if someone did, if someone helped gas this dude up to think he was going to get $14 million a year, or what Le'Veon Bell got with the Jets, or 13 like Le'Veon got, they fed him the wrong energy. And so I do feel sorry for him, because I hope this hasn't reached the point of no return where the Chargers follow up on what they're saying. And he never gets that $10 million a year, because you're right. Over time, Curtis Martin wasn't appreciated
there you
until
go.
over time.
It's a good one.
Put up numbers over time.
Yes.
So I feel sorry for Melvin Gordon. Try new agents. All right, Darnell, did we miss anything?
Yes, sir. Reggie, you actually just brought this up. Talk about my Colts, whose first game this Sunday is against Marcellus Chargers. And it looks like they've officially moved on from Andrew Luck after making a power move yesterday, signing our new franchise QB, Jacoby Brissett, to a 2-year, $30 million extension with $20 million guaranteed. And as a Colts fan, I actually love the move. But I wanted to ask you guys, why do you think they moved so fast with signing Brissett?
I think they want to give Brissett some peace of mind. They don't want him out there bitter, like, damn, I'm out here carrying all this weight for $2 million a year. So they're giving me some peace of mind. But I think this is really just a 1-year deal. Yeah. And if Andrew Luck circles back, they're in good position if Andrew Luck wants to come out of retirement.
Wow, I never knew a capologist that was such a good Samaritan. Oh, we just want to give him security. Hell no. Look at the underbelly of this. It's simple. One, this is nothing but 2 franchise tags for Jacoby Brissett at his work. So that's the floor. What this really is they're going to pay you the floor before you go out there and prove you're worth more.
Yep.
First game, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, 128 rating. Then this sucker is worth $30 million per year instead of for 2 years. And the NFL ain't never giving away no money because you need security. You better go out there and get it. And he's getting it in perception, but that's a low number.
Well,
and they locked him in for 2.
I wonder if he's not betting on himself, maybe.
That's a low bet. Like, let's just be real, but I like it. $30 million today, who knows how this is going to play out as a starter. So take the $30 million and then re-up.
It's a really good offensive line.
Yeah.
They got a lot
That's
of
what I was about to say. They got talent all across the board. You got an offensive line that's going to protect you. You got a good, solid run game behind you. You got receivers. You got one of the best tight ends in the game. He has everything set up for him to go be ultra successful.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a play by the Colts to get him cheap right now.
It's time to celebrate. Football is finally back. And DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy football, has huge Week 1 contests. The first one starts this Thursday night when Chicago and Green Bay kick off the season in a single-game showdown with $2.5 million in total prizes up for grabs. Plus, new users who sign up today on DraftKings using code SPEAK will receive a free shot at the $1 million top prize. Nothing adds to the sweat of watching the game quite like having a shot at a $1 million payday. Get in on the season opener action. Download the DraftKings app now and use the code SPEAK. For a limited time, both new and existing users can get a deposit bonus up to $500. And new users, don't miss this extra special Week 1 bonus. Enter my code SPEAK, S-P-E-A-K, to get a free shot at the $1 million with your first deposit. That's code SPEAK, only at DraftKings. Make it rain.
All right, welcome back. Whitlock and Wiley. Reggie Bush is back, and we're joined now by longtime NFL and college coach Hugh Jackson. All right, let's move to college football, where Jalen Hurts had a monster debut for Oklahoma this weekend, throwing for 3 touchdowns and running for 3 more. The performance vaulted Hurts into early Heisman talks, with Fox Bet giving the 3rd best odds to win the award. It isn't too surprising given that Hurts is now being coached by Lincoln Riley, who guided Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray to the Heismans in back-to-back years. All right, the question here is, who deserves more credit, the quarterbacks or Lincoln Riley's system?
System. And it's simple. I mean, there's really no pushback, but I know we're going to fill this segment up with somebody who's going to make up something to push back. We are talking about...
I'm thinking on it right now.
I know you are, you critic. We're talking about 2 backups and a walk-on. And they are 2 for 2, maybe going 3 for 3 with Heisman Trophy winners, including the #1 overall pick. And y'all going to say, oh, it's them. Oh, you know what? They found lightning in the bottle. And they found it again. And they found it again. Well, if they keep finding it, guess what? It's them, not what they're finding. Yeah. They have a remarkable system. We know the talent. They always recruit well up front, and football's won in the trenches. This is Oklahoma. This is a blue blood, brother. And then you talk about the skill set players that they have, and then you have a young coach. And why I say his age is because Lincoln Riley reminds me in the same mode of all these young, innovative coaches like a Sean McVay, who are groomed for the position. 2 years under Bob Stoops. And you not only are with Bob Stoops through his leaner years, but guess what comes when you're learning good and bad? When you get the opportunity, you know how to self-correct. David Stern and Adam Silver comes to mind in a different respect. You kind of learn like, oh, this works. Ooh, why'd he call that? I'm going to do this next time. Boom, opportunity strikes. You do that. So this is all about system, not devaluing the individuals. They all have performed. But, boy, they were in a situation that was conducive to breeding their talent.
Yeah, I think I would put the ownership on the system as well. When I was watching the game, I'm watching some of the plays that he was scheming up for Jalen Hurts. They ran a counter quarterback draw. I've never seen this before, where he got the ball, started to the right, and then countered back with the running back and the tackle leading up through the hole. Now, he would have scored. He would have had 7 touchdowns if the tackle missed the block. And then turn around and try to go back. So, to me, I think it's the system. I love what Lincoln Riley is doing with Jalen Hurts. He's building the system around Jalen Hurts' strengths. He's not trying to force him to be Baker. He's not trying to force him to be Kyler. He is allowing him to be himself. And I think that's the best thing you can do as a head coach.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think what both of them said is true. I kind of weigh on both sides of the fence.
Go ahead, please.
Because when I look at it, I mean, there's no question that the coach creates the environment and he has a system in place for these guys to be successful. You don't have the first pick of the draft 2 years in a row and not be very good at what you do. But at the same time, these guys are talented. Yeah. You know, the National Football League are taking these guys #1 overall. So it says that there are some talent characteristics there that people are starting to see, and that's been showcased. So I think it's a little bit of both, and I think you have to have both to have that kind of success like you've had. You got to recruit great, you got to have a great system, and then people got to perform in the system.
Well, I think back to Houston, Andre Ware and David Klingler. And they had a system that you could put damn near anybody in, and they were going to throw for 10,000 yards. and I can't remember where Klingler went in the draft, but Andre Ware went very high, and both of them washed out. I don't think Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray are going to wash out the way those guys did. So I'm careful about giving way too much credit to the system because Oklahoma and what they're doing, I don't think this is what Houston was doing in the late 80s, early 90s, where it was just purely the system and the quarterbacks just weren't that good. These quarterbacks are very good. I'll give Lincoln Riley credit for what Reggie's talking about. It's like he does it a little different for each one of them. It's not the same thing. And again, that's why this is in Houston, because that offense they're doing for Jalen Hurts, as Reggie just described, that's a bit different and plays to his strengths. But clearly, these guys are incredible, these young guys. Jalen Hurts, we saw it at Alabama, his character, and now we're starting to see, like, his play can also match the character in the right place. And then Baker Mayfield, clearly a special guy, and Kyler Murray.
Well, the thing about Klingler, 6th overall, Andre Ware, 7th overall. But we have seen that rise and fall, so therefore we have a conclusion. What is Baker Mayfield going to be? For real. Not thoughts, not forecasts. What is he? Kyler Murray. Like, so, and these are 2 number 1 overall.
They didn't go 6 and 7.
And, look, no, and I'm not
the NFL agreed.
Right, and I'm not going to damn
one team agreed for Kyler Murray.
Yeah, exactly. One team, and we didn't know the needs of other teams that are around the top of the draft. But I'm not damning these guys. I'm just saying that there is no coincidence that 2 and now a 3rd, and Jalen Hurts was a high-level performer at Alabama. We get it. It's not like he's crumbs. But now you go there and you set career yardage records, touchdown record. Like, in your first game, you try to say this, not the system? Come on, man.
Well, to me, Marcellus, Jalen Hurts is clearly balled in. And so go over there immediately and have that kind of says a lot about Jalen Hurts as well.
Yes.
That's my point.
Well, I think he became a man through that situation because he handled it perfectly. How many times have we seen guys get mad about, maybe somebody takes their spot, takes their shine, takes their reps, right? That had to be embarrassing for him. And now he's going to Oklahoma and doing it, and I think he played this situation perfectly because he went from having to see SEC defenses to now having to play against Big 12 defenses. So he's going to be doing this every week because Texas Tech is not going to be the defense that's going to slow him down. It's not Oklahoma State.
No.
And so now he's in a situation where he can go out and ball and put up these kinds of numbers every week and make his case for the Heisman every week. And guess who's going to have to answer questions about that? Nick Saban. Every week, every time.
Nick's got
Jalen.
He gonna say, Tua. Are you talking to me? Because you better not be talking to me.
They already asking him questions, and he's already had to answer it.
That's right. But here's where the other thing I'll give Lincoln Riley, and maybe he's falling into it. But look, all 3 of these guys got chips on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts,
great.
okay, I'm not good enough. I'm going to go prove you wrong. Baker Mayfield walked on twice. Kyler Murray's the little dude syndrome. And in a big man's game.
Right.
And so all of them have chips on their shoulders. So I give Lincoln Riley credit, but I also, these kids, man,
Jason Whitlock.
are different.
Once is a chance. Twice is a coincidence. What's the 3rd time? Damn pattern. You know why it's a pattern? Because it's the system.
Time now for Darnell's question of the day. Darnell, take it away.
Yes, sir. Let's move to the NFL, where a new column series in ESPN's The Undefeated just debuted, proclaiming that this is the year of the black quarterback. The series will chronicle the history of black quarterbacks in the NFL, and the first installment points out how far they have come with the reigning MVP, the top paid player, and this year's top pick all being black QBs. I want to ask you guys, if this is the year of the black quarterback, what does it say about the NFL?
Well, I think it says that the NFL bends towards talent and winning above all else. And if you can help someone keep a job and stay highly paid as a head coach or a general manager, they will give you an opportunity. And, obviously I'm a homer for football and the NFL, and so this doesn't surprise me that we've gotten here. Remember last week, Marcellus, I pointed out that in the 70s, O.J. Simpson was the highest paid player, like $800,000 a year. Fran Tarkenton was the highest paid quarterback at $360,000 a year. And so when all the money was bending towards running backs, black kids bent towards running backs.
Right.
When it's bending towards quarterbacks, we're bending towards quarterbacks.
Interesting.
Yeah, dead on right there. The NFL is great at math. And right now, what has happened is the parents, the coaches, the culture has done a different calculation, as it has always done, as you just pointed out one example, which equals to a different NFL existence, especially for the black quarterback. So what we see right now is the response to everyone's mindset changing. The glass ceiling was taken off. In different fragments, different segments. It was 1978 when Doug Williams was drafted in the first round, first ever. Then 87 when he won the Super Bowl. And then you blink and then you see Randall Cunningham and others. Then you see, Dante Culpepper getting his roll on. And then Mike Vick gets drafted #1 overall. Boom. And then you see Culpepper gets $100 million. Mike Vick gets $100 million twice, including once after being incarcerated. Like, you start to calculate different. So what happened to these running backs? I see it. I'm at the youth level. I go to a lot of Pop Warner games. The running back who becomes the high school 6-foot guy. I'm saying running back. And all of a sudden, one day, somebody say, hey, man, that receiver game has changed in the NFL. They're getting paid more and getting touched less.
I'm going
so
to
now
receiver.
I become Antonio Brown. I could have played running back, Antonio Brown, body type, but I'm switching over there. What has happened now? You can even hear it in recruiting. Dual threat quarterback. That's code for, damn it, he can move and probably black. Like, let's just be real. So what happened is they grabbing these 6'4", 210 dudes who used to be receivers. Randy Moss. Come here. I know where you can really not get touched. And throw that ball. Can you throw? Yeah, you can, huh? And you're mobile? You're a dual threat. And now you're seeing that start to emerge into the NFL, making the position a blacker position than ever. But it's just different calculations that the NFL has always supported and endorsed.
I think he said it. I mean, obviously, those points are well taken. We're talking about 17% quarterbacks that are minorities in the National Football League today. And when you're talking about 9 of them, that's going to start on opening day. And prior to that, I think last year we were right around that as well at 9. So, again, I think there's more opportunities being given, but I think the game is somewhat changing now. You know, I think the days of just a pocket passer is starting to move away just a little bit. It's hard to find the Tom Brady's of the world and the Drew Breeses, but it's maybe a little bit easier to find the Lamar Jacksons, you know, the Russell Wilsons and the Patrick Mahomes. And I just think that trend is starting to happen a little bit in the National Football League.
It's evolution. You adjust and you adapt, or you die and you become extinct. And you have guys, and I'll say I was one of the guys that started to lead the way on this. I was 6'3", running a 4.40, and was hitting you bad, hard. You better adjust what you're doing, or somebody's going to get hurt. And I think it went from now it's the protection of the quarterback, but it's also how can we still be effective, right? When you got guys that are roaming around out there at that size and at that speed and that skill level, everything is so specialized skill-wise now that you know, the NFL probably looks at it as they love seeing this adaptation, because the reality of it is that it would turn into a very boring game watching guys get sacks all game long if a guy's just standing there upright and there's only a few, like the names you mentioned, that are able to read the field well enough to get rid of the ball in the right pockets in time, on time, in space. So I think the evolution of it had to take place because the total overall way the game is played is really based off of you having to have athleticism to go along with what had seemingly been deemed a position that was just for the thinker. You know, that label and that tag, it's now not a stigma that the person can run, let alone pass the ball.
And you know who we need to thank for this? And it's crazy. It's not even a black quarterback. It's Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah.
Like, in San Francisco, they were thinking, oh, man, they took forever to pass that baton. And then when Steve Young took it, he opened up and actually did even more in some respects in terms of opening up the playbook and opportunity. It was a non-black quarterback who showed everyone, look, the mobility is a part.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, the one thing I want to say, because I don't want us to gloss over this fact, I do think in society, in the 60s, 70s, 50s, whatever, there were stereotypes that hindered us as black quarterbacks, widely held stereotypes that hindered us as black quarterbacks. But I don't think that was the only explanation. And that's why I added in the part about, look, man, football used to be dominated by running backs.
Right.
The reason to tune in to watch was to see Jim Brown and O.J. Simpson and Walter Payton. They were the driving force, and there was a time when the NFL paid them like they were the driving force, as I pointed out with O.J. and the 1970s. And so I think a lot of guys didn't even want to play quarterback in my generation.
Right.
Because the running back was the thing to be.
But the evolution of the game as well. You did not have a Lawrence Taylor running after a Jim Brown. As the game continued to evolve, you know, and you have a LT deciding to be a linebacker versus being a running back, now the rules change and you have to evolve. You got Mel Blount, who's playing in the secondary, and he's as big as any of us on this table. So as the game evolved, so does the talent and so does the skill. And I think it's more of the mental aspect of why people felt as though only certain labeled type of people could play the position of quarterback on the field. And it wasn't just so much the prestige of it, it was the necessity of who is going to guide and lead and run this offense. And I think now, through evolution, you're starting to see that it's okay to let certain groups of people be able to take. I mean, you have a Polynesian and a Pacific Island contingency that's becoming very, very prominent in playing the quarterback's position. And so you're looking at it from more of, we're not going to label it and deem it a racial situation where this racial group belongs in this position on the field. It's just football now. And I think that that's pretty cool.
It's really just plain and simple survival. They even mentioned in the article talking about the antelope learns its speed from running from the damn lion for its life. You know, when these quarterbacks were getting destroyed, they were like, y'all need to get more mobile. And then that all of a sudden opened up the floodgates for those who played other positions to be mobile, to now be a quarterback. You can think, you can lead. Oh, I know you can run. Let's figure this thing out. It's funny you bring up running backs, how everyone wanted to play the running back. I played running back my entire life until I got to the pros. I remember, how about this, the days when a guy like me was even skeptical of playing football. Because remember, my father, when he grew up in the 40s, 50s, 60s, it's like married to a 6'1", 250-pound woman, is saying, this boy gonna be kind of big. And then I remember these conversations. I'm too young to really act on them. Heavyweight champ of the world. 6'4", 260, ain't playing defensive end back in the 70s. He trying to be Muhammad Ali. Then when the economics changed, the dynamics changed, the mentality changed. And that's what happened. And guess what? In 20 years, guys, it's going to be completely different.
Hugh, I kind of want to give you final say on this because you've been in those rooms where decisions are being made. Particularly, you're an offensive coach about quarterbacks. The one thing I don't think a lot of times the media and fans understand is just how devastating a single loss is in the NFL. And so I just want you to help us understand, in those rooms where those decisions are being made, have you seen the NFL change its perception on black quarterbacks?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think you look at the makeup of your team and you have to ask the question, who's going to lead this offense and who can get us to winning? And what does that look like? And I think through vision of the organization, through vision of the coaching staff, then you come up with this model. And you go, I can take this quarterback who's an African-American, who understands this RPO world because everything started to change, and he has a different type of skill set than what we're used to seeing. This guy can put the ball in the end zone from anywhere. He can run the ball in the end zone. He can throw the ball to the receivers and get it in the end zone. And if that fits, you take that guy. There's no question about that.
Reggie Bush and Levar Arrington are back. Let's move to Dallas, where the Cowboys reportedly just signed offensive lineman La'el Collins to a 5-year extension. Dallas has now signed Collins, Jalen Smith, and DeMarcus Lawrence to big new deals and appear to be nearing terms with Ezekiel Elliott. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott hasn't signed a reportedly massive offer from the team, and as Jerry Jones just pointed out, the pie is getting smaller. All right, the question here is, think Dak has lost leverage with the Cowboys?
Yeah. More importantly, you can see the Cowboys are saying, you know what? Quietly, we're not scared of this franchise tag with you. Quietly, we're not scared to roll the dice on you in terms of what you mean to this franchise. Dak has a great argument. I want $1 more than Carson Wentz. That's me guessing what he's thinking. But sometimes you could be penny wise and pound foolish. And boy, Dak, damn it, you're going to end up playing for that franchise tag. And that normally, in my mind, is not a bad thing. You're getting top 5 average salary. That's great.
It used to be a bad thing.
It used to be, yeah, it had a great connotation. But now, if you're a guy who's still, in the eyes of many, needing to prove yourself, you don't want to be in a position where every year you're still needing to prove yourself to get your long-term security. Kirk Cousins, right. And Kirk won that one. Now, is Dak going to win his? I think quietly the brass is saying, we're going to punt on you, Dak, unless you want to sign on these lesser terms, And let's see if you are Kirk Cousins. Because even Kirk Cousins has heard the message of what Dak is singing in terms of playing that out. Minnesota's sitting there like, what did we really get with this fully guaranteed contract? Penny wise, but maybe pound foolish.
I mean, I think Jerry Jones saying the pie is getting smaller this is his version of we're going to go forward with Tony Pollard as our starting running back this year because we believe in him. I truly believe that this is just a negotiating tactic because at the end of the day, the most important position on the football field is still the quarterback position, right? And you have a young quarterback in Dak who you like, right? And I think it also some of the ownership needs to go on Dak too. If they want to make you top 5, highest paid quarterbacks, and you're not putting up top 5 highest paid production numbers, then you got a really good deal, right? And so.
Dak is closer to Tony Pollard than he is Zeke Elliott. Go ahead.
Can I jump in on that? Let me just jump in on that for 1 second because the thing I was thinking about in my mind while you were talking, Reg, was you kind of said it in a different way, but I posed the question earlier off camera. Is that a franchise? What's the first thing that comes to mind if I ask you, is that a franchise player?
Yeah.
Well, if I ask you right now about Dak, all right? What's the first thing that comes to mind if I ask you, is he the franchise quarterback? Is he a franchise quarterback?
For the Cowboys, yes.
No. Is he a franchise quarterback?
Don't try to change that up.
Don't say that.
You see how I got you?
Is he dead? Is he a franchise quarterback?
Huh?
Right, exactly. So the reality here is, yes, the pie is getting smaller. Yes, it is. And I don't think that that's a negotiation ploy. I think that that's just the same thing with the other guy and with the LA Chargers.
Yep.
It's kind of like getting to the point of where, look, man, we got a really good team here with some players that really are franchise players. Yeah. And I don't think that we look at you as one of them. And y'all mentioned Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had to go to a different franchise to get that. All right. Yeah. So the reality here is, hey, come on, be realistic in your approach.
Yeah. I'm going to go the other direction only because they allegedly are very close to signing Zeke. And to me, once Zeke is in the bag, now you can focus your full attention on Dak. Mm-hmm. And again, Zeke's in the fold. So now you can go, if they're going to make the mistake, in my opinion, of paying Dak $30 million, you needed to do that after Zeke was signed. Mm-hmm. Because once you paid him $30 million, if it was before Zeke, to me, Zeke's, he gets greedier. But now, if it's after the fact, after Zeke is satisfied, you're the highest paid running back, now you can go ahead and overpay Dak.
Can I push back?
Yeah, please.
Pragmatically, what does focus your full attention
Come
really
on now.
mean?
Come on, talk about it.
Dog, I learned this when I got drafted. All of a sudden, my voicemails run from, where you at, dog, when I'm in college, to when I got to the league, hey, I know you so busy. I'm like, I ain't busy. Like, we practice for 2 hours a day. We at the facilities for a few hours. I'm done at 2 o'clock. You at work still. But you know what it is? This perception that is so time-consuming to do a damn contract. You mean focus your attention on and just you, Dak? Okay. They can do both. They can't walk and chew gum right now. They just don't want to.
Here's what I meant.
Okay, come on now.
It's the distraction.
The optics are better now. Yeah. Zeke is happy. He's been paid.
Okay.
He's popular in the locker room.
Big time.
And so Zeke is satisfied. So now let's go ahead and make this mistake and overpay Dak. And the locker room is, going to, hey, Zeke's happy. Collins is happy. DeMarcus Lawrence is happy. Jalen Smith is happy. Everybody's happy. Now let's go overpay
But Dak is not going to be happy. Think about it. You ever show up late to a function and call them and say, save me some? Ain't no food left when you show up that damn late. He gonna be last in
cold.
He gonna be cold.
At that Harton.
Somebody
nothing.
Flies flying around.
Come on, man.
Why you ain't cover the food up the whole time?
Somebody took a bite of one rib.
That look like a finger mark right there. Come on.
Man, come on.
No.
Hold on. So, again, what y'all are arguing then is that Jerry doesn't have $32 million to give Dak?
I'm saying he's not eager to give it to you, Dak. And since you didn't want it when I wanted to give it to you, maybe it ain't gonna be there for you. That's what I'm thinking.
And you're there. You're participating.
Nope. I don't buy that. I think for sure that they want to pay him right now. They want to get him in the door right now. But I don't buy the fact that Dak is is somehow, playing this, I guess, this waiting game as to, I guess, what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying he's playing the weight game. I'm saying he wants what Carson Wentz got plus.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
under
I mean,
that.
he deserves
They're not going to
that.
give him
I
that.
agree, but
deserves
guess
that.
what? At a certain point, are you going
They're
to
not
get
going to give it
that?
to him. They're not
So
going to
hold
give
on,
it to
hold
him.
on.
That's where I'm at.
You don't believe he deserves that.
No.
You believe
No.
that the market is dictating
I don't believe he deserves
that he
it.
gets
Yeah, I do.
Right, right.
Market
Yeah.
dictates.
Yeah, the market dictates
Yeah.
that he gets it. And I just haven't seen anything from the Cowboys as of yet that says they backed off overpaying for Dak. And again, signing
Oh, I
these
got
other
you.
guys.
I'm with you there.
And so
You're right.
I think they're
You're
still
right.
committed to overpaying Dak
You're right.
and having Zeke in the fold actually.
But what is that? What is overpaying Dak? What
Anything
what
over
figure
20
is that?
million is overpaying.
Okay.
In my view.
Well, that's very far away from what he wants, though.
In my view.
Right.
I think everybody else believes anything over 30 million is overpaying.
Anything with Tony Pollard get Jacoby Brissett money, that's too much.
But what if the Joneses? But what if the Joneses are thinking the way you're thinking? That's a problem. Think about it. That is a problem if, we're going to overpay Dak, right? We're going to overpay
But
him.
you're reluctant.
But it's 25, it's 26, it's not 30, it's not 31. That's a problem.
I'm going to take the comedic out of it. Anything over 25 is overpaying Dak. And I think they were committed to 30 million. Dak wants 32, 33,
32,
something
plus,
over Carson Wentz. And I think the Cowboys are like, come on, man, 30 million for what you've done. And so maybe now I've talked myself into thinking, yeah, he has anything over 30, he's lost leverage,
He's lost leverage.
on that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I've talked myself
that's
into
gone.
Yeah, because if not, they would have done it already.
They would have done it.
They would already pay the
All right. All right, with today being Taco Tuesday and all, before we go, I'd like to further elaborate on the delusion of NBA star LeBron James.
Please,
Oh, here we go.
King James has attempted to claim ownership of Taco Tuesday on the basis of his dozen or so social media posts promoting the meal. He filed for a trademark of the phrase, hoping to own it in the electronic media, advertising, and entertainment spaces. I'm not a lawyer. Maybe James has a legitimate claim, and his claim won't infringe upon the Taco Tuesday trademark the restaurant chain Taco John received in 1989.
Some research.
Here's what I do know. This isn't the first time LeBron James has arrogantly claimed ownership of a cliche idea. In April of 2018, James's lawyers wrote Nick Saban a letter demanding that the Alabama football coach quit doing his internet show, Shop Talk, because it allegedly mimicked and infringed on the intellectual property of LeBron's barbershop-themed talk show. I you not. LeBron James thinks he invented barbershop TV talk, and he'll be damned if Nick Saban or anybody else sits inside of a barbershop surrounded by groupies and worshipers.
Know Nick Saban more than I do. From a media perspective, not saying you personally. From a media perspective, you guys know Nick Saban more than I do, so that's exactly what I would think he would say. But I built Uninterrupted for a reason, for us athletes to have a platform to be able to speak about, whatever we want to talk about. And I respect him as a coach, but I'd be damned if I allow someone to, use our platform or try to, do the same thing we're doing and, and just think it's okay. So the lawyers will figure it out.
Yep, 20 straight years of fame, wealth, privilege, and worship will create delusion in any human being. You add in an addiction to social media, and you create the LeBron James we have today, a human being morphing into a 24/7 human brand disconnected from reality. Anybody watching the HBO show Succession? It's about the family of a billionaire media tycoon, Logan Roy. His kids are all detached from reality. In one episode, he asked his youngest son, Roman, how much a gallon of milk costs. Roman couldn't answer. LeBron James is a mix of Roman and Logan Roy. You, LeBron James worshipers, think that suggestion is blasphemous. I can see Nate Burleson and others rushing to grab their cell phones and run out to their backyards to film an emotional defense of their king. Well, LeBron is a good daddy. He ain't never been arrested. He takes care of his kids. We're like, you just hate Bron because you don't like tacos. I don't dislike LeBron James. I'm actually concerned about him. Does he have anyone close to him, anyone he trusts who is willing to tell him the truth? 20-plus years of living a king's life has made LeBron think and act like a pampered and entitled king. Too many people foolishly believe being poor as a child inoculates LeBron from the harmful side effects of extreme wealth and fame. It doesn't. Nor is LeBron immunized from the ravages of his 10-year addiction to social media. Instagram and Twitter are making a fool out of LeBron James. Taco Tuesday was cute the first 1 or 2 times he did it. The third time was kind of weird. There are some things beneath the dignity of grown men, especially men worth $500 million. Pandering for retweets and likes by shouting Taco Tuesday in some sort of Speedy Gonzalez voice is one of those things. The NBA should hire Jay-Z to tell LeBron we've moved past Taco Tuesday.
Oh, man, come on.
Do it before LeBron's lawyers send a cease and desist letter to the North Pole telling Santa Claus that LeBron invented Christmas. More Speak for Yourself after this. Whitlock and Wiley, Levar, Arrington, and Hugh Jackson are back. Let's move to Houston, where Bill O'Brien has taken some heat this week after the Texans made some big moves over the weekend. Houston sent 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder, among other pieces, to Miami for Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills. And despite some doubts, the coach says the team is, quote, very confident in the moves. Of course, it doesn't hurt that their division is now wide open in the wake of Andrew Luck's retirement. All right, listen, I defended the Jadeveon Clowney move, dumping it. I have to admit, this 2 first-round picks for Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills, it doesn't make sense to me. It makes me kind of, does Bill O'Brien know what he's doing?
Well, look, he doesn't have an active boss right now in the general manager, so that makes it a little open in terms of what he did. I don't like the cost of the resources he purchased, but I do like where he applied those resources. Protect my damn quarterback, give me some depth in the passing game, and let's get over this hump. We're not going to get over this hump by having more pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. They're already 11th ranked. They're good enough there. Where they needed help was my quarterback's been hit more than anybody in the last 2 years. So let's go solidify that.
No, I think you just said it. You have to take care of that quarterback. The only way to do that is to make sure that you have one of the better left tackles in football. And,
2 first round?
Again, that's steep. I mean, that's steep. I'd be the first to tell you that. I think anytime you're trying to make winning happen, but you just said it. Look at the division right now. Andrew Luck's not playing. You got a chance to really take over the division. And again, you have to consider the future. I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, you're in this window with Deshaun Watson that can truly make a difference as you move forward.
Hugh, I want to stick with you because you've been in Bill O'Brien's situations. He does need to win now. His survival is dependent upon it. Is that perhaps why he overpaid?
Well, I mean, again, I'm not Bill O'Brien, so I can't say exactly, what the future would be there. But at the same time, if I'm a coach, and I think any coach, we're trying to win. We're not trying to see if we're going to win 2 years from now or 3 years from now. You need to win now. And so you're going to do the things that you think it's going to take for you to get over the hump.
Let me ask you this. What round pick was Jadeveon Clowney?
First.
Okay. What, number 1 pick overall?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3 number 1 draft picks you're talking about, first rounders, right? And the reality of it is that as a coach, let me pose this one to you in a statement form. How can you justify, I'm going to put our resources here on our offense side of the ball, bring in a receiver, bring in a lineman, but you lose the production, no matter what people will say about his stat line, you lose a 3-time Pro Bowler that is a anchor of your defense, and I still don't hear anybody talking about how do we replace that production that we lost. I think they got to go backwards based off of that.
Absolutely, but I think the way they look at it is not the defense that's been holding them back from moving forward. I think they feel like they need to score more points and be a little bit more productive on offense.
But what if you're giving up more points?
There's no doubt. I mean, but what if you're not? I mean, that's still the
They lost
question
the
to be
playoff
seen.
game 21-7, despite them going out there, and you saw the injury to DeAndre Hopkins in the game. And J.J. Watt was limping around but still playing. They're like, we should win games if by 21 points, that's all we gave up. We should win games. So maybe they'll give up more, but they'll score a lot more, they're thinking.
I think they're looking at Andrew Luck for 2 things. There's an opportunity, and there's also a lesson to be learned. Our quarterback's getting beat up the way Andrew Luck was early in his career, and we don't want that situation to be repeated here. However, Marcellus, I want you to address this. I think it's a selfish move. I think Bill O'Brien is looking out for Bill O'Brien more than he is the Houston Texans.
Absolutely. Look, this is self-preservation at its finest. This is a guy who's like, I'll cross that bridge if I get to it in terms of long-term security. I need to survive this year. It's an open division. And look, he ate up all his lunch and didn't give a damn about dinner. He like, look, whatever, when we get to dinner, we'll figure this out. And y'all, I've been there in my family. Boy, you eat up everything. You're like, we ain't got much. And they're like, tomorrow's a whole different day. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Right. Let's just get through the night. Yeah. And I think that's what Bill O'Brien's trying to do. Just get through the night, get through this season. And I had to spend a little more to get something out of it. If not, he's gone.
Uncle Jimmy's here to help us talk about our approval rating for Zeke Elliott. After what Marcellus said today, big dummy of the day.
Come on, man. We laughed out loud at you a few times.
More than once. Big dummy of the day.
Yeah, get him.
Goes to somebody who said, LeBron James fans think that I don't like him just because I don't like tacos. Man, tell me a taco you ever met that you don't like.
Get him. I did think that, too.
Man.
That ain't the reason.
Let's talk some Zeke Elliott, who finally appears to be nearing a deal with the Cowboys. But Peter King's latest column says he thinks all the contract drama in Cowboys land is going to make them miss the playoffs.
Strong.
Cowboys not in the playoffs. You agree with Peter King?
I don't agree with him. I like this roster a lot, almost in love with it. The passing game is going to be interesting. No Amari Cooper for most of the summer. Just had his first practice yesterday. So a lot of that is going understated. And no Zeke for all of training camp. We all know when guys return to full game live bullet action, the hamstring usually disagrees. So we'll see how that plays out.
I like the Cowboys this year. Uncle Jimmy, your thoughts?
Me too.
Hey, first of all, before I say anything, I need to let the record speculate for itself that I think you got this whole analogy wrong.
What, the wedding analogy?
You got this whole analogy wrong, okay? Like the young people say, you got this whole thing twisted.
You got it twisted.
Look, Jerry and Zeke are getting married.
Jerry and Zeke is getting married, but Zeke is the bride. Jerry's the groom.
Oh.
Now, here's the problem. Jerry ain't trying to be nobody's groom. Jerry's that international playboy. All he do is fly around and make everybody think, I'm gonna make y'all my bride.
Right. And a mystery.
And right now, what we got ourselves here, fellas, we got ourselves an old-fashioned shotgun wedding.
Yeah, all right. So you agree with me?
You agree with him.
Wait a minute. But here's where you messed up. Zeke's agent is the one holding the shotgun to Jerry. Zeke's agent is telling Jerry, you know you done defiled my client's name. You done defecated on his character. And right about now, I need to tell you, you're gonna have to pay my client what he's worth.
Okay, yeah.
But see, the person, Zeke know his clock is ticking. Zeke know he was the highly touted recruit coming out of college.
Yeah.
First round draft pick. Showed up at the draft. Was scantily cladded. Showing all his goodies.
I knew he was gonna go there.
Huh? He knew the whole NFL was looking. Now he done turned 24. Now he done got in his feelings. He see these little young Thundercats coming out of college. He see this work they putting in. He know he got about 2 years left fooling with Jerry. Hey, man, we seen how many miles Jerry put on Zeke in the last 2 years. We saw what he did to DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
Hey, man, look, let me tell y'all something. Ezekiel Elliott is a 2016 Dodge Challenger with a Hemi with 180,000 miles.
Carfax.
You done check the Carfax, so.
You better.
Bottom line, I'm telling you, the Cowboys ain't gonna make the playoffs.
The Cowboys don't make the playoffs. Why?
Because Zeke is getting married for all the wrong reasons. He don't love Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones don't love him.
Deep.
First of all, to be honest with you, I question whether or not Zeke even loves football. If he loves football, why the hell ain't he in training camp?
What?
Hey, Zeke is getting married for the wrong reasons. He getting married for profit. He ain't getting married for love. And that's the Cowboys' whole problem. Everybody's in it for the wrong reason. They in it for money. Hey, man, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper.
You say Dad?
They sitting up here going, hey, man, they going through Jerry Jones' pockets in the middle of the night. just like Cardi B at a late night after they dropped a rupee on him. Hey, Dak and Amari going through his pockets. The offensive line done went through his pockets. They in it for the wrong reasons. That's why the Cowboys ain't gonna win nothing. Because they in it for profit. They ain't in it for the love of the game.
I got to get to my approval rating for Zeke Elliott.
Damn, it got quiet.
Why you get heavy in here?
It's a 69. Solid role player. That was good, Jimmy.
Yeah, that went deep.
Up 2 points in all-time great. He's going to be the highest paid running back.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, job performance had to go up, man. He's not in Cabo anymore, so he's starting to get back on the grind. I had him at not an all-star level.
No, you got him at scout team.
I know. I'm mad at them. They over here inflating
look at
making it better.
The internet agrees with
Say
me.
Daz and corrupt again.
They got him at an
Daz and
all-star.
corrupt.